Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to Truth, Trust, and Trajectory with your girl Shakim B. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a very personal experience, but it's also a universal one. It's about one of those moments when you're deep in your healing journey and doing the work from breaking free from toxic cycles and people, and out of nowhere, life throws you a test in form of a person, someone who represents everything you're trying to move away from, and also validating that your intuition is always on point. So, before I get into this episode, I just want to encourage you guys to please make sure you subscribe. Also, hit that thumbs up button and hit the notification bell so you guys don't ever miss an episode. Also, make sure you guys check out my workbook. It is now on Amazon as well as my ebook. I will be talking about that more later on in the video and linking it down below. And let's go. All right, guys. So I want to start by sharing a recent experience that got me really thinking. A while back, I had a gut feeling about someone. I won't go too much in detail, but let's just say this person really gave me the vibe that didn't sit right with me. I tried to warn someone close to me about it, but at the time, they didn't listen. And fast forward to now, this same person is trying to slide into my DMs. So when I saw their name pop up, I felt a mix of emotions, one of them being disgust and the other anger. I was also kind of very surprised. Then there was a weird sense of validation because here's the thing. When they're when my intuition tells me something about a person and time proves me right, it's not only empowering, but it's also unsettling for me. It's empowering because it reminds me that I can trust myself. But then it's also unsettling because forced me to confront the fact that not everyone has good intentions. When when I started feeling this, right, I kind of felt like, for one, it was like a setup. Let me give more detail. Okay, so I was dating someone who surrounded themselves with very questionable people. We'll just say that. And one thing about me is I pick up on people's underlying intentions and their overall energy. And I remember at the time, after seeing a certain repetitive pattern with an individual, I remember bringing this up to my partner at the time and basically letting them know, like, hey, um, this person is jealous of you. Not only are they jealous of you, they're literally trying to sabotage you, right? The thing about me is it is a pro, but it's also a con to where I tend to see the best in people, even when they don't see that for themselves. And so as a result, because I can see the very best in people, I tend to try my best to bring that out of them. But the thing about it is, when a person is not willing or ready to step into that, they're not willing to step into their highest self or their highest being, there will be a certain level of resistance and it will cause a lot of friction, right? And so, that was my biggest takeaway from the situation, that not everybody is ready to do the work and heal, right? And operate on their highest level. And so what ends up happening is, because they don't want to do the work, they will surround themselves with people who enable that low vibrational behavior, this person's relative, as it pertains, right? So during that time, he ended up cutting contact with this person for some time. But what ended up happening is he was resentful towards me because he felt like he was giving up, who he was because of me. So fast forward about 3 months after, 4 months after we ended up breaking up officially, I'm on a dating app, and the person who I was trying to warn him about previously before ends up matching me on there. Um, Basically, they sent me a heart or whatever, meaning that they wanted to match with me. And when I first saw it, I was like, wait, this person looks familiar. So I'm scrolling down his profile and I was like, I know you're fucking lying. Like, So I had commented because he commented on one of my photos. So I commented back or replied back to him, like, I know you're lying. Because, like, first of all, how dare you? Secondly, like, what type of weird low vibrational games are y'all really playing? All in which I want no part of. Initially, the first thing that came to my mind was that, he was doing that to show my ex-partner that, hey, she's not as, you know, she's not who she says she is. Like, she'll mess with me kind of, energy. But then I was like, what if he's trying to do this to hurt my ex? Either way, it's still very messy, very toxic. And it really just pissed me off because it brought me back to a place where I was mentally dealing with him and then having all of these people with their toxic behaviors um, coming into my reality. So I ended up just blocking him. But this video is not about him or my ex. It is really just about sending a reminder out to people. For one, you have to be very mindful of the company that you keep. I feel like there are people that actively operate in devilry on a daily basis. And when they see you distancing yourself from toxic behavior and trying to heal yourself and become a better person, they will intentionally try to insert their way into your life to drag you down a few notches, right? So that's why I said this is, something that was a test from the universe. But for me, I don't really look at it like it's a test because the type of person I am, I said what I said and I mean what I mean. So if I say that I'm not the type of person to deal with somebody's relative on that level, that's what I mean. And I don't know why people have a tendency to try to put that theory to test you to see if, oh, well, she said that she's not like this, but let me just go ahead and try it and see. You can never, ever, ever get me to go against my morals. That is first and foremost. So for that, I just attribute that, right? So I want to talk about the bigger picture in this, right? And that's intuition and healing. So, talking about intuition for a second, when you've been through trauma, your intuition becomes your lifeline. It's like that little voice in your head that says something is not right here. It's the feeling in your gut that tells you when to walk away, even when you can't quite explain why. But the hard part is trusting your intuition. And I talk about this quite frequently on my channel because I feel like it has really taken a lot for me to learn to trust when something is for me and when it's not for me, and when it's time to throw in the towel, right? So it means that you have to be able to set boundaries that make you feel uncomfortable or even guilty. And that's where healing comes in, because healing isn't just about letting go of the past. It's about learning how to trust yourself even in the present. It's about recognizing that you don't owe anybody your time or your energy or your peace, not even the people who try to convince you of otherwise. So now I want to ask you guys, what would you do if someone tries to pull you back into their drama? How do you protect your peace? When there's snakes in your grass starting to slither in your direction. So I'm going to give you guys a few things that I've learned along the way. The first thing is learning to listen to your gut. So if something feels off, it probably is. You don't need to justify it or explain your intuition to anybody. Just trust it. The second one is to set boundaries because they're not about being mean or selfish. They're literally about protecting your energy. And if someone's presence in your life feels draining or toxic, it's okay to create distance. And also learning to say no without feeling guilty. You really don't owe anyone an explanation for saying no, whether it's to a request, an invitation, or even a relationship. No is a complete sentence. Number four, avoiding the drama triangle. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about: the rescuer, the victim, the prosecutor. Don't let anyone drag you into their mess. Stay all the way out of it. And number five, y'all want to make sure that you're focusing on your growth. So, healing is a journey and it requires focus. You want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who support your growth, not people who try to derail it. And what that looks like is people that enable very toxic and unhealthy patterns. It looks like people that low key hate or try to sabotage good things that you have going on for yourself, so on and so forth. So, I want to give you guys a bit of truth. Protecting your peace is not always easy. It can feel lonely. It can feel scary. And sometimes it can even feel like you're being too much or too sensitive. But I want to tell you guys something. It's literally not. When you say no to drama, you're saying yes to yourself. So, anybody that wants to know, like, hey, how do I show up for myself? You start saying no to anything that requires your active participation in drama or toxicity. It looks like when someone starts gossiping or, they're talking about negative things, you can simply decline the conversation. Hey, I'm busy. Can I call you back later? Let's talk later. Or change the subject. All right. And when you walk away from toxic people, you're making space for the kind of relationships that uplift and inspire you. And when you trust your intuition, you're honoring the person that you're becoming. It's really not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. And it's about recognizing that you deserve better than the chaos that you're leaving behind. All right, guys. So this is the conclusion to my video. If you're out there doing the work and if you're healing from your own trauma and breaking free from toxic patterns, I want you guys to always remember this. There are snakes in your grass, and there are people and situations that will try to pull you back into the chaos, but you don't have to let them. You can say no, you can walk away, and you can choose yourself. Healing is about more than just surviving, it's about thriving. And you can't thrive if you're still feeding the same old drama. So cut the snakes out of your grass, protect your peace, and keep moving forward. If you guys are ready to take the next step in your healing journey, I want to invite you guys to check out my trauma workbook and ebook available on Amazon now, guys. Yes. These resources are designed to help you dig deeper, to heal stronger, and create a life that feels safe, fulfilling, and aligned with who you truly are. Also, make sure you guys check out my trauma mini series. It is going to be linked in the description box down below. It is a 5-part series. So this is going to be a span over 5 weeks that I've created and curated just for you guys, breaking down what trauma is, the types of trauma, things that you can do to actively start being proactive in your own healing and resolving a lot of these traumas. All right. Also, guys, make sure you head over to my website. It is truthtrustandtrajectory.com. It's a space where we can contribute this conversation and grow together. Also, I'm going to be linking my Facebook group down below. This is a community that I've created. It is specifically for all of my neuro spicy people. um, that are currently trying to overcome trauma. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today. If this episode resonated with you, please make sure you share it with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, healing is possible and you don't have to do it alone. Until next time, guys. Okay, bye.